Okay folks, this is something I've been sort of waiting to check out, and I've had one or two of you ask me in the comments, when am I going to get one? One fellow this week asked me, and I said, watch this space, there's one coming soon. Well, here it is. This is a Zuwei, or Zuwei, or Zuwei, whatever you call it. Z or Z-U-W-E-I. And it's another one of these amazing budget companies that sprung up that, you know, seems to offer guitars for amazing prices with really good specs and finishes. I've seen a few of these. This is not the one I really wanted, but this one came up discounted, and I decided to grab it. Kind of that surf aqua blue. It does have some quilting in the finish. Again, that might be a photo finish, I don't know. And then it has the white pickguard, the cream binding, really garish neck. I don't like these heavily inlaid necks, do you? It's not me, it's a bit garish. So I could see this one moving on fairly quickly, although I like it. And then it has the Bigsby, or the Bigsby copy. Now, I've had a couple of these Bigsby, Chinese Bigsby copies on guitars. Remember the IYV guitar that was like hollow body SG, that had a Chinese Bigsby copy, and this is another one, and they're quite different. That one's really rigid. This one's really smooth. Really smooth. I mean, you barely touch it. The spring on it is a lot looser than the other one, but it has these sort of interesting pickups, sort of like the guild. What do you call them? The roller. Forget what they're called. The guilds. I think they're kind of going for a bit of a guild vibe with this guitar. But anyway, it has really interesting knob placement. Not something you hear every day, is it? Do you have interesting knob placement? But anyway, the knobs that are by the pickups at volumes for that pickup, and then this one down here is your general tone. So each pickup has its own volume. So you got quite a variety of sounds. You know, you got your neck pickup, which is got a lot of bite. Middle pickup, which I really like. And then, of course, just your neck pickup. I don't know what these pickups are, but they're really, really decent. They sound fine. I have to say, those of you who've been interested in these Zuwei guitars, I had to do a lot more setup on this than the IYV I showed you in the last video. The IYV, I got out of the case, I played on it for a few minutes and decided it was fine to make a video with. The fret ends weren't sharp. I might do a couple of things to it, but it's almost there. This one, not even close. So I got it out of the packing, and the action was really, really high. I had to crank the bridge posts all the way down, so that's as low as it will go. And it's just perfect now, but you can't go any lower. The pickup heights are still a little bit wonky. I managed to straighten them a little bit. And the frets, with the fret ends, the sprouts, even though it's bound neck, were really protruding. I really had to grind on this thing for a good 5 to 10 minutes aside. So I use a 3-cornered file, and I round the ends off. First of all, I have to cut or trim the protrusion, and then I rounded the end of the file, and then I beveled with a file, fret file, a tubular one with a diamond cutter on it. I sort of beveled over the end so you get that sort of rounded end on these now. It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. But most people who buy this guitar are not going to do that. They're going to have to take it to a shop. So maybe that's the reason why it was cheap, but I suspect that this Zuwei company is another one of these companies that suffers from some of the same situations that we've talked about in other videos. There is little to no quality control, and what you get is what you get, and most of the time you're going to have to do some sort of setup to get it to play right. The action was way too high on this. It was a ½ inch. It was really high. So I doubt it was checked going out there from the distributor or the factory. I have to say the Bigsby, or the fake Bigsby, is actually nicer and smoother than the other example I have of that with the IYV guitars. So that was quite a nice surprise. The hardware's decent. The other hardware, I mean, the tone pots and everything seem to work well. Another thing that's nice about this is the F-hole is pretty clean. It's not all nasty, you know, and poorly sanded like some of them you get, and it doesn't have a bunch of crap on the inside. You just see plain wood. So there's nothing ugly. The neck feels good. It feels a bit chunky for a Tele style guitar. Definitely a C profile neck. And then, you know, all of this inlay stuff. You know, some people like it, and that's fair enough. It's just a bit busy for me. It's nicely done. It appears to be nicely done, but it's a bit busy for me. And then the tuners, they're close-on style tuners with the vintage buttons, the smaller buttons or keys. However, they are, you know, very much, you know, just sort of Chinese standard tuners. So if you were to get this guitar, obviously one of the first things you might do, if you're that way inclined, is to clean up the tuning end of the guitar, put some nicer tuners on it. Some of you may switch pickups on these. I think it sounds fine. I think you kind of get a surf guitar vibe with this, playing it, particularly with some reverb through a clean amp. You've got quite a bit of control with the different knob configurations. They're kind of in weird places. It's strange having the knobs so far apart on the bottom end of the guitar. The three-way switch is in a fairly normal position. I'm wondering if they couldn't have put white pickup guards on this instead of cream to go with the blue and white. I don't know. It doesn't really bother me that much. This is definitely not my kind of guitar. So it's not something that I am tempted to keep. I'm going to make this play really, really nicely and then move it on. It came with a bag as well. Because a lot of people like these sort of Thinline Teles, semi-hollows with Bigsbys on them. You know, whenever I get something like this and I list it, I always get an enthusiastic buyer fairly quickly, particularly with this sort of quilted aqua blue type of finish. It's a very classic looking guitar. So it's nice, and the Bigsby's the main worry. I was wondering how that would be, but it seems to be a very stable situation. So a nice guitar, not quite my thing, but definitely really nice and fun to play. So there you go. This is a Zuwei, and they don't really have a model number for this. I think it's just their T-style semi-hollow in the aquamarine blue or something like that. If there is some sort of name or model number, I'll put it in the description. This is another one of those companies, by the way, that just seems to list guitars in 6 and 7s, kind of like IYV and Firefly. Every time I check, there's like 4 of these and 5 of those, and these are out and those are out, and these are out of stock, and then the next time you look, there'll be, you know, a different grouping of guitars. So they're not a full production company. They're very much one of these small run, almost experimental companies where they just put out models and see how they do, and if they do well, they do another run of them. If they don't, they move on to something else. I've seen 3 or 4 different Tele Styles that they do. They do a really nice natural wood one with a Bigsby, a dark natural wood one that is out of stock. That's the one that I wanted to try. It seems like most of their guitars, they use humbuckers rather than single coil, even on the Tele style. And then I think they have a hollow body or two and some other more super strat kind of shapes. Interesting company. I know a couple of you have been watching them, and I've seen great reviews and people saying really good things about these. My experience so far, and this is just the one, is it's another one of these budget companies where it seems like you get good bang for buck if, and it's a big if, you have a way to dial them in. If you have a way to set them up, or you have a luthier or a friend or a guitar tech or somewhere to take them. That's a deal breaker for a lot of people. They would send this right back, and possibly that's what happened with this one. So bear that in mind, and as always, learn some setup. You can buy with confidence online, a lot more confidence if you can do things to make your guitar play better and fix common issues. It's changed my world since I learned how to do it, and I know it will yours as well. So there you go, a Zuwei Thinline Tele, kind of surf style with a Bigsby. Fun guitar. All right, folks. See you on the next one.